A lot of guitar players start off with the pentatonic minor scale, and rightfully so. It's a very popular scale. But a lot of times you're throwing something in a major key, and playing pentatonic minor over something in a major key usually doesn't work out. You usually get something that's annoyingly rock and rollish. It's kind of like inappropriately rocking, you know what I mean? You need something happy and upbeat and bright, and instead playing pentatonic minor will give you this like bluesy sound on top of it instead. So what we have to do is we have to start learning how to use our pentatonic major scale instead of just our pentatonic minor scale. And this is really simple. You probably already know how to do this if you studied anything about pentatonic minor. What we're going to do today is we're going to jam an A major, and instead of being in the entire A major scale, instead of playing my entire A major scale, I'm just going to play a pentatonic major. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 5th fret on my low string. So my 6th string, my 5th fret here is A. And if I play my 2nd pentatonic shape, you may have seen this before, it looks like this, then that 2nd pentatonic shape is actually pentatonic major, starting right there with my root on A, okay? So I just want you to hear how this works out. I mean, immediately, if I play a pentatonic major over a track that is in the key of A, I'll just play up and down the notes, and I want you to hear how well and perfect each one of these notes fits right into that track. 2, 3, 4. That's very pleasing, right? So what I want to continue going on here is how can I make this sound interesting? Well, this second shape has a lot of little parts of it that are very easy to use. And I specifically want to talk about the top 4 notes of this second shape right here. So the 7th fret and the 5th fret, the 7th fret and the 5th fret. These 4 notes are ideal for a lot of different hammer-on and pull-off situations like this. Or a pull-off where you're, and then coming down to the 2nd string, just like that. So with those 2 moves, a little hammer-on here on the 2nd string, and then a pick stroke on the 1st string, or a pull-off here on the 1st string, to a pick stroke on the 2nd string. Between those little moves, I can get some really nice-sounding licks over that same beat. Take a listen. So I really want to point out, how useful it is when you're in a major key to, first off, find your pentatonic shape, your 2nd pentatonic shape, and then isolate those top 4 notes and really hang out on them all day and try writing with those 4 notes. You're going to get a lot of cool moves between these hammer-on and pull-off ideas. I would also recommend starting to slide, especially if you're doing solos on an acoustic guitar like I am right now. You want to avoid picking to try and get away from that staccato sound all the time. Adding in slides and hammer-ons is an excellent way to get away from that very pointy sound of picking everything. All right. So right there, 4 notes, a lot of cool ideas. And I just want to point out that if you want to adventure past this shape, you can also go up right there, slide an extra whole step, and you'll have access to the major 3rd of that scale. So it's out of my shape, but it's still a note that's in the scale. And it's very, very useful to kind of grab a hold of that note too when you're doing stuff like that major 3rd is a nice note to have access to. And it's not too far out of our shape, so I think it's a reasonable note to talk about here. All right, so the next thing to learn here is that this is our 2nd shape, and it connects to our 1st shape, which I'm sure you've already seen before. Take a look at actually how it connects. We started right here on our 5th fret with our middle finger, right? But that's the 2nd note of our 1st shape, which means that our 1st shape is actually back here on the 2nd fret, all right? And basically what that means is you can play your good old-fashioned pentatonic minor shape. You've seen this 100 times. You can play this and still be in a pentatonic major because you've started 3 frets back, or you've started 3 half steps back. Basically, long story short, F sharp minor is the relative minor to A major. F sharp minor and A major are the same scale. What that means for you is that you can play both of these shapes to play in A major. So essentially, if I want to play in A pentatonic major, I can either start on A with my middle finger and play the 2nd shape, or I can start with my pinky on A, and I can play my 1st shape. And and you can hear it's the exact same set of notes, all right? F sharp pentatonic minor and A pentatonic major are the exact same notes. The shape that I'm playing is different. And why would I go through all that work just to play the same notes in a different shape? Well, take a look. Here's those 4 notes right up here that we were talking about earlier. Here's those exact same 4 notes an octave lower. And they're nestled right there easily, conveniently in my first shape, all right? So what that means is that anything I played up here, I can play in my first shape on my middle strings here. And it's even a cool little idea for the middle of your lead. You can follow yourself up in octaves. You can play something and then do it again in the octave higher. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. All right, so it's just that simple, is that I play my lick up here on my 4 favorite notes, and then I can just transport down and play my 4 favorite notes down there. So let's take a listen to what it sounds like if I use both shapes this time, and what I'll try and do is I'll try and really highlight the fact that these 4 notes are the same as these 4 notes as I kind of work my way through both pentatonic shapes. So you kind of hear what's going on there, right? I can just kind of seamlessly go back between those 2 shapes right there, and you won't hear a difference in the notes that I'm playing because they're the exact same set of notes. But you will hear a difference in the options available to me when it comes to hammer-ons and pull-offs and slides and things like that. The last thing I want to talk about is how we're actually going to transition between those 2 shapes. It can be kind of tricky to just go all of a sudden from one shape into the other, but there's one specific little transition that we have to talk about because it's so useful, and you're going to hear it so many times when people are working with pentatonics and connecting these shapes together. And that specifically here, if I'm on the 2nd fret and if I'm playing F sharp pentatonic minor in my first shape, let's go up to the note on the 3rd string right here, and that's my ring finger, okay? Now if I slide that note up a whole step, it all of a sudden takes me into the 2 notes of my pentatonic major shape, or my 2nd shape, all right? So again, here I was playing the 2nd fret and the 4th fret, but if I slide to the 6th fret, then magically I am now ready to complete my 2nd shape over here, all right? And in the reverse, what if I'm in my 2nd shape and I'm coming down my scale, all right? And then all of a sudden I play that 4th fret, I can slide it down, and now I'm back into my first shape. So I really like that note right there as an opportunity to slide back in between. And if you use just that slide on its own and isolate it, it sounds beautiful on its own. And if you come back down with the slide, so it's like a multi-purpose thing. Not only are you going to use it as a transitional device, something that helps you get from point A or shape 1 to shape 2, but it's a great lick that you're going to be using as an actual technique or a lick on its own. That little slide move right there, all right? And you can follow it up a million ways. You can do that slide, and you can go up to a note and then keep going through the scale. You can go up and then back down, and then back down the first shape. All right, so basically what I'll do here is kind of wrap it all together. And I mean, it won't be too different from what I showed you earlier, but I'll be using the first shape down here, which is basically, you can think of it as F sharp pentatonic minor, but I'm still thinking of it as A pentatonic major because we're in the key of A major here. I'm just playing. I'm playing it by putting my pinky on A and playing my first shape. I'll be playing my 2nd pentatonic shape, and I'll be bridging that gap between these 2 shapes with that little slide move as often as I can. All right. So, I mean, you hear what's going on right there. It's a lot more interesting than a pentatonic minor, and I want you to just really briefly hear how bad of a decision it is to play a pentatonic minor over something that's clearly written in the key of A major. To me, this is just like the definition of bad guitar playing, is to play something like this on top of a track like this. Take a listen. 1, 2, 3. That's way, nobody wants to hear that. So I know that when I started, pentatonic major was a source of a lot of confusion for me, and I really didn't quite understand how to apply it. But hopefully this gives you a little insight into it. And really quickly, just to kind of recap, if you're in a major key, all you have to do is find the root on your 6th string somewhere, and then play the 2nd pentatonic shape. The other option is to find the root somewhere on your 6th string and put your pinky there and play the 1st pentatonic shape. And you'll basically playing the exact same set of notes. You're still in a pentatonic major or in any pentatonic major, but you're doing it 2 different ways. Obviously, if you're a more advanced player and if you've studied more, there's 5 pentatonic shapes. You can use all of those shapes to jam in any of these keys, of course, and you can bridge them all together. But right now, it's a good idea to just kind of learn the minor shape and the major shape if you're new to this. Connect those two, practice using both of them in major keys, and then start adding on the 3rd shape, the 4th shape, and the 5th shape as time goes on. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.